Hi guys, it's Bob from the Guitar Show here again today without Ramon. Ramon is travelling and I'm also going to do a video that's unusual for what I do. I hope you like it. It's going to be quite different. I'm going to do a product review because I have a product here today that I think is so good that it merits a review. It's a product I own, it's a product I spent my own money on, so there's no endorsement, there's no commercial activity behind me. It's just me telling you about a product that I use a lot and really like. So what is this product? Well, it's an effects unit. It's made by Boss and it's called the MS-3. I've had mine since about mid-18. I think it came out in about mid-2017. I paid the high 300s for it, probably about £370. They're available much the same price or even a bit less, 350 or so today. So that's what it's about. The unit offers, I better show it to you, haven't I? This is the unit. I've got it mounted on a small pedal train Nano, and I'll explain these two pedals and their presence a little bit later. But for now, I'm talking about this little unit here. That's therefore about 10.5 inches long, about 3 inches by about 2.5 inches. It's small. So, it's a multi-effect unit and it contains a bundle of Boss effects, which are pretty good because Boss have been at the effects game for a long time, and you know, their regular stomp boxes are really popular. The exact dimensions, if you're interested, are 275 by 97 by 68. It's powered by an external 9-volt adapter, or in my case, by the excellent Palmer Backpack 8000, which I'll switch on, which is sitting on underneath my pedal board. This gives me at least 8 hours of continuous operation time with this pedal board. So this is 2 gigs, or you know, a whole day's rehearsal without a recharge. It's really good. But I'm fired up here, so you can see everything's illuminated. Okay, let's move on. I've used Boss stomps over the years. I've always had at least one on my board, and I've also just bought the remarkable Katana Air practice amp, which is the thing with a little wireless in it, and you can program it on your iPhone or your iPad. You can change all the sounds, and for an amp, a tiny amp with 2 3-inch speakers, it is an essential rehearsal and practice tool. It's a fantastic little product. I wanted to see, having been so impressed with the Katana, I wanted to see if the MS-3 was as good. I didn't know anyone who had one, so I had to take the plunge and buy it. And the bottom line, if you want to stop watching the video now, it is. It's a fantastic piece of kit. I'll try and describe it. The effects inside it are arranged in a chain. FX1 and FX2 blocks are where most of the before the amp input type effects are. You know, your compressors, your drives, your wah, stuff like that. You can, if you want, select the same effect in both effect blocks. So you can have 2 clean boosts driving each other, and I might come back to why that's important. The famous blues driver is in there, of course, as well as a variety of much higher gain metal type sounds. The metal zone is really good. It's not the style I play, but it sounds just like the Foo Fighters. Going along the blocks, mod 1 and 2 are where most of the effects that you would put in an absolute are. So all your modulations, your chorus, phase, flanger, and trems and so on. But the chain can be reorganized, so you can put these things in between or in front of the drives if that's what you want. The next thing that follows in the effects loop is obviously the delays and then the reverbs, which typically exist at the back of the chain. The delays are very comprehensive, and there are several delay programs where you can have 2 delays. This is important along with the stacking of the boosts, because if you want to get the kind of Robin Ford Dumberly sound, you need 2 boosts. You need a clean boost driving a slightly less than clean boost, and you can alter the tone very precisely with 2 boosts. And then you need 2 delays. You need 1 delay with a very short and single repeat to act like a doubler, and then you need your next delay with a very long delay but very low feedback and low mix to give you that kind of hero echo underneath. The Boss, actually, you can have 3 delays in it if you want, because you can also reconfigure the reverb block to be a delay, and sometimes I'll even do a 3 delay patch. But if you want that kind of the Robin Ford type sound, that's the way to get it. Ramon's done a great video on this channel about how to get it in more detail. This box will do that. Finally, however, I've only talked about it as an effects unit so far. It's also a loop switcher. It's got 3 external loops. The 3 external loops are arranged in the signal chain as a single block. So you can bring any one or two or three of them in, but you can't rearrange their order. It's always one comes before two comes before three. And you can put your favourite analogue effects in the loops. So for example, what I've got set up here at the moment is I've got one of my favourite drive pedals, which is of the Muram Janray, which costs nearly as much as the whole Boss unit. And the Janray is if I want to have a proper analogue drive rather than a synthesised, digitally affected drive, I bring the Janray in by just switching on the loop. The first loop I've given over to this Hotone wah volume, which is a tiny little thing, this purple thing, and it's switchable. Green says it's a volume control, and it's volume at the beginning, which means all my echo tails last. If I just click on it, blue means it's now a wah pedal. So this is a very powerful little pedal for giving me volume control and wah. And that's in my first loop. My third loop in the device, I keep clear. I keep clear for two things. Either for putting pedals that I want to try and copy in, so I can then very quickly A/B them and do copies, but much more importantly, and where this thing really comes into its own, is if you connect it to an amplifier via the 4-cable method, which means that you put the guitar into the effect unit, you put the loop send out into the amps input, and then you take the amps send into this thing's loop 3 return, and you take this output into return. And what that means is that all your drives and your wahs are in front of your amp, and all your mods, your choruses, and your delays and your reverbs are behind the preamp and behind the drive. They don't mush up. So the 4-cable unit is well worth looking at, and this little guy supports it. It also, because it's got left and right outputs, it also supports you if you want to use 2 amps. And you can then even program it as to what it feeds each amp. So you can even use it effectively as an amp switcher, as well as just a stereo rig, which is remarkable. And it also has a few other things. It's got external expression control, so you can control it. I'm not using it on this board, I'm just using wah and volume, but if I had another one of these things, a little Hotone, the expression pedal they make, which is the red one, I could be controlling all the effects in here as well, and you can assign it to multiple effects at once if you're that geeky. You can also switch external devices like your amp channels with it as well, all from this small box. It's quite amazing, and you can program it using your fingers and the tilly little screen here, or you can program it by hooking it up to your computer and the brilliant editor, and you get a whole screen to edit it. Okay, there's one more thing I want to talk about on the MS-3, which is it has 2 modes. One is the mode that you'd probably use if you were playing a gig and you select a patch. You select a bank first, up and down, by pressing pairs of switches. I'm in bank 15, I'm then going to select patch number 3 in bank 15. And that's how you do it. So you could set up, for example, a bank per song, so you can switch from the rhythm to the chorus crunch, to the lead solo, to a flangy echo, whatever you like, all in one patch. But what I think is brilliant about this device is if you press this button, which also doubles as the, if you hold this down for 2 seconds, it becomes a tuner with 2 displays. The bright LED display, which is great when you're programming, and these LEDs also light up here, red and green. And on stage, these are better, so you've got 2 tuners in one. But if you don't press that button down for 2 seconds, but you just push it, all my buttons have now gone red. And what this means is that you're now inside the patch that you've selected, and you can switch on and off or modify 4 effects of your choice. So for example, if I'm in one of my Dumbly type drive patches, I can switch on and off either of my drives, and I can switch on and off either of my echoes. So it means that I can start the tone and gradually build it in intensity and build it in density as well through a solo if I want to. I'm not saying I'm that good, I just can. It's absolutely amazing, and it's really, really easy to use. It's even easy to use when you're on your feet playing guitar, thinking about, do I know the song? It really doesn't complicate you. It's an amazing thing. So, you can also, by the way, and I've done this when I do those rhythmic echoes like the Edge uses in U2, you can obviously set a time in the echo, but you also have a feature in the front page to set the beats per minute, and you can assign any of these buttons as a tap. So it means if your drummer kicks off a song and he's supposed to be playing at 118, but he ends up playing at 115, you can just follow him with your foot, tap in a new master beats per minute for that song, and all your echoes will be in time with your drummer, as long as he keeps time. So you've got all the bases covered. In a box this size, in a pedal board this size that literally goes onto the neck of my guitar when I travel, it's amazing. I wanted to do this video, as I say, I don't endorse products normally. I wanted to do this video because I think it's probably one of the best pieces of guitar equipment I've ever bought. And if you've watched these videos, you know I've got pretty much half of about every bit of guitar equipment that's ever been made. It's that good. You can even clone some really famous effects. I've managed to clone the Jan Ray pretty convincingly in here. I've been working on a very interesting pedal called a G-Town Holy Grail, which the UK distributors lent me. It's a great Dumble style pedal, and I've been looking to see if I can imitate that in here. I'm getting pretty close. I've done a few other pedals like that as well. I even had to go with the Klon. And I know there are people out there who will think, nah, no chance, but very, very close, especially at stage volumes, really, really close. Close enough to make you think. So, to conclude, ladies and gentlemen, the Boss MS-3 multi-effects and switcher gets a huge thumbs up from Bob at the Guitar Show. If they could just put, through a firmware update, if they could just put a little looper like a Moore or a TC, just a simple little one-button looper in here, it would be perfection. Thanks for listening. See you next time, hopefully for another huge guitar unboxing. Cheerio.